Hello and welcome to Talk Good Game, and as a preview for Saturday's not so glamorous tie between Middlesbrough and West Ham United as West Ham try and win 2 games in a row again. Jason, what's your thoughts on our opponent, Middlesbrough?
Pretty much quite. When I say a solid team, they don't often concede, but they just don't often score. Really, they're pretty much set out to play in that defensive mindset, and kind of how we've been a bit lately, in just scraping 1-0 wins and then riding out their attacks. But they're missing Gaston Ramirez. I think he's quite a creative outlet for them. I think the one player we should probably worry about the most is Dama Traore, who I think is a bit of a wild card, really, to say the least.
It's De Roon that I like whenever I watch them this season, which isn't much. I'm going to admit I don't watch a lot of Middlesbrough. It's De Roon that impresses me. To sum up Jason's theory there, bang on. They're the only team in the Premier League this in 2017 that hasn't scored nor conceded in the league yet. Tom, what's your thoughts on the red side up north?
Yeah, it's like you, Joe. I don't know too much about Middlesbrough, to be honest, because they're not one of the teams. I don't keep a track of many teams apart from West Ham, but they've got that Negreira. Is it Negreira? Is he up top for them? I've heard he's meant to be really, really good, and I've seen a couple of his goals this season on Match of the Day. Yeah, no, they're doing well, aren't they? Really, I don't think they're going to go down this season, which is obviously their main aim. So they're doing okay.
Do you think they're not maybe? Their lack of scoring, Tom, might pull them into a relegation battle? I think they're 15th right now, but they're only 4 points ahead of Hull.
To be honest with you, mate, I think there's 3 teams worse than them. But yeah, that is an issue for them. So maybe they need to get someone more attack minded and to get the goals from for the closing half of the season.
Well, something that might be a boost for West Ham fans is Middlesbrough have failed to score in 9 league games this season, which is a league high, equal with Hull. Jason, can you see them getting dragged into relegation battle, or do you consider them to already be in one?
Well, I was just going to pick up on what Tom sort of said to bring in attacking options. They have actually recently been quite busy in the market. They've picked up Rudy Gestede and splashed out about 10 million for Patrick Bamford, which may give them a bit of a lift for the team, really. So maybe give them a bit more of a creative outlet. I think they're actually going to set up quite similarly to how we play, with Gestede getting the flick-ons and potentially Bamford on the Grado feeding off of them. But to answer your question and not dance around it, I think they'll be fine this season, to be honest. They've set up quite like Burnley, quite resolute, and they are 3 worst teams in the league, and they should have enough about them to ride it out.
Very similar to Burnley. Their home form, certainly in the Championship, their home form was fantastic. But even in the Premier League, while they've not been winning games, they have been on a few defeats. They do have 4 clean sheets in their last 6 games at home, and the 2 teams that did score were Chelsea and Liverpool. So there are no mugs at home. It's a very tough place to go. I think it's a very underrated place to go in the Premier League, actually. And the man in charge on Saturday afternoon is probably my favourite referee, Martin Atkinson. He's refereed 34 West Ham Premier League games in history, and we've won 14 of them. We've had him twice this season when we got beat 4-2 by Watford, and when we won 1-0 at Crystal Palace earlier in the season. If you're a Middlesbrough fan, you've had him just the once this season when you won 2-1 away to Sunderland. Now let's talk about our side. Let's talk about West Ham. Can we keep the feel-good going? Can we keep the momentum going after that win against Crystal Palace? So let's chat about that. Tom, we've won 4 of our last 6. With the 18 games before that, 6 games, we've won 4. So is it fair to say that we're in a decent bit of form going into this one?
Yeah, I think Middlesbrough's a good team to be playing. Yeah, we're in good form. Only bit of worrying news today, and come out of Billich's press conference was about Andy Carroll. You couldn't write of him, could you? Apparently he's got whiplash. I mean, I don't know if he got whiplash from when he come out of space for his scissor kick, or the 20 mile long sort of sliding sort of celebration. I don't know, but you couldn't write of Andy Carroll. So hopefully he can play the weekend.
Yeah, or it might be whiplash from the car crash of a WhatsApp group that Dimitri Payet was involved in. There's a few actual niggles, I think, with West Ham right now. I think there's, I think Byram's got a niggle, Reed had a niggle. I think they'll all make it. I think, going by the vibe he gave off, I think they'll all be fit. Jason, Sam Byram came on against Crystal Palace, changed the game. We switched to 4 at the back. Are you hoping that we'll start with 4 at the back with Byram right back?
I think the proof was in the results, really. We tried the first half of the 5-3, whatever the formation was in the end, and it clearly didn't work. We switched it up, and it's worked dividends for us. So I can't see why Slav would then sort of revert back to it. But you just never know how he might line them up on the day. It might be the same thing where he'll give one tactic a try out, and if that doesn't work, he'll be more reactive than proactive into it.
Jason, do you think we should just keep the same 11 and formation that finished the game against Crystal Palace? Well, not finished, minus the substitutions apart from you know what I'm getting at, Antonio Carroll up front, etc.
I'd say so, but as you sort of alluded to with the couple of players carrying knocks, it could easily change up the formation, because I mean, I think Feghouli as well also came into the mix in that one. I mean, if we don't see Feghouli make a run out or even on the bench, I'd like to see maybe Keena get a run out in his place, retaining that same 4-4-2 formation. If it's Reed that's still pulling up a little bit, then potentially Ogbonna, or, you know, as the sort of transfer news is rumbling on, perhaps Jose Fonte could be in with a shout, especially if it is close to being sorted in time. If we can get the clearance in for it, that'll be a great little debut for him.
Well, and, thank you. Sorry to interrupt. You're moving me on to my next question very, very swiftly here. Tom, you are, if anyone's been watching this channel since you've started a period on it, you're one of the most cynical people we've ever had on. Whenever someone doesn't play, you automatically think there's a transfer going on. Are you going to be looking, if the Fonte deal goes ahead but he's not in the team, are you going to be taking who partners Winston Reid as a big statement as to who might be departing this month?
Yeah, I mean, it's just common sense, Joe. When you look at the team, we've got Ginge, obviously centre back, Ogbonna, and Reid. And if they're getting Fonte in, obviously Reid's undroppable, you know, if he's fit. With Fonte, that's the two at the back. So either Reid or Ogbonna's got to go. I mean, one of them potentially has got to leave, because you've got Burke and you've got Oxford coming through as well. So to me, it's so whoever partners, if Reid has picked up in it, and if Fonte does come straight in, and whoever partners him, I think the one that's not playing is the one that could potentially go in this window.
Tom, I just asked Jason there if he would start the same team that were at maximum impact against Crystal Palace. Is that the same 11? That's the same 11 I would start. Is that the same 11 you would start, Tom?
It is, mate. Yeah, 4-4-2, and yeah, the same 11. But picking up on the niggles, I mean, if Andy Carroll's picked up an injury and he wants to play two at top, obviously Antonio's got to be up there if he's fit. But who'd you play with him? So for me, this is a perfect sort of opportunity. You know, we're sort of 9-10 points above relegation. Martinez gets a shout. Put him up there and say, look, go make a name for yourself. You know, what have we got to lose? We've got nothing to play for this season apart from getting higher up the league. So that's what I would do.
What about yourself, Jason? If Carroll doesn't make it, who would you play up front? I think Fletcher, Martinez are your only real options. And also, what were you going to say before I interrupted? You can finish your...
Thank you. Well, potentially going on, disregard the rest of the formation. You know how it's going to pan out. I'm sure it'll be fine. But in regards to a striker, I think, well, it's kind of odd. Every presser with Slav, he always seems to single out Calleri for praise. Out of every other sort of like striker other than Carroll with the worldie, of course, he keeps sort of saying Calleri's working hard and he's getting on the bench. So I mean, if Carroll doesn't make it, I can definitely see Calleri being in with a shout. I definitely think we haven't seen the best of him. Like, there is a player in there somewhere, but if we want to replace him sort of like for like, you know, it couldn't hurt to chuck at Ashley Fletcher or, you know, the wild card in Tony Martinez. But we are only 5 wins from the magic 40 mark, and I think once we achieve that, we'll definitely be seeing a lot more of Martinez, because, as you say, the season's pretty much finished. We've got nothing to lose. Let's just chuck out the youngsters and blood them into and bed them into the team.
Yeah, in hindsight, after the Crystal Palace game, I did think, I wish he'd put on a couple of the young kids. You know, when we were 3-0 up and he took on Fletcher at the end and Fernandez, I thought, that's when actually I would have liked to have seen maybe Oxford come on, just for, it would have got the crowd going again. The crowd would have stood up on their feet if we've got Oxford on the pitch, you know, after his contract. I just thought, come on, Billy, just play the kids a little bit. I don't want to see them starting in this game because there's a wee bit of pressure on us. But so I would actually play Fletcher. I know everyone's gunning for Martinez, but Fletcher's done nothing wrong in my opinion. I don't know why Martinez should be ahead of him. Is it because Martinez has scored in the under-23s? Maybe, but Fletcher's not playing in the under-23s, so he can't score. So I don't think Fletcher's done anything wrong. He's not played crap when he's played, so I think Fletcher deserves a chance. The case is there for Martinez as well. And I'm going to be honest, Jason, I forgot about Calleri. I know you said people keep forgetting about it. I've completely forgot about him, despite the fact he was on the bench and stuff. Middlesbrough, despite what I just said, also this could not be a good thing for West Ham with their clean sheets. They're the only side that West Ham have played more than 10 times in the Premier League in history that we've not kept the clean sheet at. We've not kept the clean sheet at Middlesbrough in the Premier League and we've played them, I think, 11 times in the Premier League. Interesting stat for you, random one. But Tom, are you confident? Are you confident going into this one, Tom?
Well, we have to be confident. I mean, everything, the Palace game, obviously, second half was absolutely fantastic. You know, the team morale at the moment's high, and even with the Pirates saga going on in the background, you know, hearing rumours about what's gone on there with the, as you said, the group chat and things. You know, so obviously the team all banded together. You know, the brother sort of bond's really strong at the moment. Yeah, I think they're going to go up there, and I think hopefully they're going to really have a good game and play some good football and give the travelling away fans a lot to cheer about.
Jason, you were quite positive about Middlesbrough at the start of the show. So are you as confident as Tom, or do you think Middlesbrough's got enough in their locker to maybe annoy us a little bit on Saturday?
They're definitely going to make it difficult for us with how Karanka sets up that team. And I also almost forgot to mention Stuart Downey will probably be licking his lips at potentially getting in and involved on this game, especially...
Is he still there? Sorry, is he still there? I know they were trying to loan him out, weren't they? Is he still there?
As far as I'm aware, I think he is, but, you know, we'll see on the day anyway. But if we do get the signing of Font come in, you know, if we get it announced beforehand, that's going to give everyone a big, massive lift. It will definitely make sure Calleri doesn't feature along the back four anymore and put him in that license to roam in the midfield. And we'll definitely go from strength to strength. But, yeah, we've got to go in for it, really, especially with the team morale so high. And, yeah, just got to go on from there.
Yeah, I'm quite confident as well, actually. The only thing that's stopping me being confident, and it's not a negative thing about West Ham, it's just I think Middlesbrough are really good at home and don't get enough praise for their defensive strength, if you like. But they do, as we've just said, that as much as good as their defence is, I do think they lack something going forward, and it's almost like they've sacrificed a little bit. It's a dangerous game to play when you're at the bottom, actually. I think trying to keep clean sheets and nick games 1-0, I think that's a dangerous game to play, because one mistake and bang, you're 1-0 down and you're struggling. But I'm confident. I'm confident for this one. So, Tom, prediction time. What are you going for?
We scored 3 goals at home. Obviously, you said Middlesbrough are going to score, because obviously you just put the dampers on us there, Gio, with that stats, and that they've always conceded against us. We're always conceding against them. Sorry. So I'm going to go 3-1 West Ham.
Jason?
My head's saying 1-0, scrappy 1-0 win for us with a Mark Noble penalty. Probably last on match of the day. But my heart wants to say something like 3-1, 3-2. I'm sure they'll give us a run for their money with their new strike force. And if results go away, we go up to 9th. Yeah,
about to say, if we do win, we can jump into the top half of the table, which, considering where we were 2 months ago, is fantastic. You know, absolutely fantastic. I'm going for 1-0 West Ham. I think we've got enough in our locker. I think against Crystal Palace, they were defensively, and they said, "Well, come on, then, what have you got to break us down?" Well, we broke them down, and that's when the floodgates opened. I don't think Borough will be so. If we do get Borough down and go 1-0 up, I don't think they're going to be so naive as Palace and just go, you know what, just you can come at us even more if you want. But it did take us wonder goals against Palace, to be fair. It did take that second goal was a ridiculous strike. But I'm going to say we'll keep a clean sheet because of their lack of firepower to an extent. But as Jason said, they have made reinforcements since all these stats came about and stuff. But anyway, we want to know what you think at home. What lineup do you want to see? What's your score prediction? You can let us know in the YouTube comments and come on to the forum at harrischat.com. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be back Saturday night straight after the game with a review, hopefully celebrating West Ham in the top half of the table for the first time this season, is it? Is it the first time this season will be in the top half? I think it will be. Can't see why it wouldn't be. But anyway, it's good night from Jason.
Cheerio.
It's good night from Tom.
See you later.
And it's goodbye from me. Thank you for joining.